Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Between the Seams with Marty and Mac, brought to you by the Triple Play Fantasy Network. We are entering Week 16, the home stretch of the season. We're going to be covering waiver wire pickups, as always, and this week it's going to be July 26th through August 1st. The summer's moving quick, Mac. It looks like it's almost about to be fall. How was your week? How we doing?
My fantasy week or my regular week, because they were very different weeks.
I think the listeners want to hear both. Let's hear a brief of both.
You know, my regular week was pretty nice, busy, full of decent decisions, and my fantasy week was full of just horrible decision making all the way. It was not. I had the right players, just the wrong formulas. In one matchup against. I've thought myself out of basically first place in the league because I was facing like the third place guy, and I think I've set Cole Irvin, Mike Minor, and I set Rodney Grossman both days he hit his home runs. I set him accidentally the first day, and the second day I was like, "There's no way he hits a home run again." And Adolis Garcia is facing Matt Manning, so of course, and then he hit a home run again. So. And I set Rugen Odor for Colton Wong the one day that Rugen Odor hit a home run. So I made 5 bad decisions already that have really put me out of that matchup. So here we are. Don't be like me, kids.
Yeah, I know it becomes that thing where you kind of overthink it. Like last night, I have a league that's important to me. It's one of my home leagues, and I have so many outfielders, and so every day, I'm sitting there trying to figure out which one to play. And I sat Tommy Pham last night. He went 1 for 4, hit a home run. I was livid. I'm like, are you kidding me? I played I think Ramon Laureano instead, and he was whatever. In TGFBI, I played. I think Danny Duffy went immediately on the IL right when Monday kicked in, and I could have put Gregory Soto for the Tigers, who has 3 straight saves in a row, and he's been absolutely incredible. And so I sat 3 saves this week. So don't be like us, kids. Instead, focus on Week 16. So that's what we'll do. But before we do that, let's review your hitters. How did we do last week?
Hitters. So we did, fine. Not horrible. When I did this last night, I didn't have game logs for last night's game, so there might have been better or worse. And there's still time to save the week. I was noticing that as I was going through my stats for previous picks, Saturday and Sunday ended up saving at least a couple of my weeks for some guys that I didn't realize. Some guys really come through on Sunday. Like there's one hitter who hits a home run, Matt Olson. It's like he's not one of my guys, but he's just a guy who will save your week on Sunday every time. He said like 10 home runs on Sunday.
Maybe he's a man of God or something.
Maybe he is. Well, he's working on the Lord's Day, so maybe not.
Yeah. Well,
maybe I won't put any religious proclamations upon that. All right, so we got Brandon Nimmo first up. I thought this was a good pick, and it is okay. He did. We talked about how he was kind of a better real-life player than a better fantasy player, and this proved to be the case. He was 3 for 13. He scored 2 runs. That's about all you got out of him. He had a 231 average, so not great, but his on-base percentage was 375. He walked like 4 times. So that's what Brandon Nimmo does.
You can see how that came up with all the runs he got this week, leading off for the Mets, and they're starting to hit their stride. He's still only 31% rostered, and he's batting .299 on the year with 2 home runs, 2 steals in limited time. So still out there, guys.
He's still good. This wasn't like the best week for him, but he's still, he's a pretty viable option, especially if you need runs, a little bit of pop, some steals. Orlando Arcia. He was okay. He's 2 for 8. He got a home run, 1 run, 2 RBIs. He was sat one of the games. I watched. The Braves are really wild. So this is what happens when you put a shortstop in left field. I was watching the game at work the other day. They were playing.
I won't tell anybody. Don't worry.
I know. Well, my boss walked up and was like watching the game. She's pretty chill. So she was just asking me what the Reds score was because she's a Reds fan. And it happened to be the game the Mets were beating the mess out of the Reds, like 9-0 or something. So she wasn't happy about that. But No, Arcia, like, there was a line drive hit to the gap, and Arcia, like, laid out for it, and he missed it by, like, 3 feet. Like he wasn't even close. And I was, like, busted out laughing and work. So, I don't know. Arcia maybe needs to not be playing left field, but I'm sure it's weird for players when they're just in, like, random positions that they don't play usually.
Right. They're just trying to tread water over there, with Atlanta.
That's basically it. Just throw someone in the outfield. Pablo Sandoval is going to end up out there next. And then Garrett Cooper went straight to the IL the day after I said to pick him up. So sorry about that if you did. He put on the IL on Sunday. So that's my hitters for the week. So Brandon
extended his arm to receive a throw at first base and was run into.
Yes, he was just run into, and I picked him up. I picked him up that day, or 2 days before that actually, and he was good for the 2 days I had him. So you'll be missed, Garrett. So that's all. Brandon, Orlando, and Garrett. I had 5 hits and 1 home run to show for the week. A decent on base percentage though.
There we go. Yep. And we've talked about how most of our leagues have transitioned from a batting average league to an OBP league. So, we definitely helped you there. All right, I'll take a look at my week 15 players. We'll start off with your boy, Jock Peterson. So, not what I expected from him. I expected him to come in here, be, to light a fire under your Braves, lead off and just hit the ground running. And he did none of the sort. He only had 2 hits over the week with only 1 RBI. He's still hitting the top of the lineup. So hopefully there are better days ahead. He still has he's been rostered. It was 27% last week. Now it's all the way up to 39%. So people jumped on board. You haven't been rewarded yet, but I would say stick with him. You know what he is, right? He's going to do this for a week, and then maybe next week he'll have 2-3 home runs. So keep with it. But yeah, overall, Peterson did not do too well for me. I was pretty bummed about that. Number 2 was Akil Baddoo, outfielder for the Tigers, 34% rostered. The average wasn't there, but he had 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and 4 runs. So the counting stats are there. He's still, I think, only about – no one's really hopped on. It's because it's the Tigers, I think you'll get into it with Rodney Grossman later. Yeah. But everyone's just kind of like they're just ignoring him.
Yeah, it's I don't get it.
It's been pretty wild. And number 3 was Josh Bell. So he was my best hitter by far. He only had 3 hits, but he made them count. 3 home runs, 3 RBIs, and 3 runs. So, if you're doing the math at home, folks, that's 3 solo home runs, and he did absolutely nothing for you. But
that's what's wrong with baseball today.
Right? It's either home run or strikeout.
Solo home runs.
Exactly. That's actually not a joke. It's kind of wild. I would like to see how many.
I rostered Bryce Harper too much for that many solo home runs.
He only has like 30-something RBIs, which is it's
like 90% of his home runs have been solo shots.
I have him in one of my home leagues. I think I spent $28 on him, which for the market isn't too bad. But when I look at that, I see people like Robbie Grossman, and Robbie Grossman has been so much better than Bryce Harper, which is something I didn't think I'd ever say.
Thought I'd say,
but that's where we're at. All right. Well, how about your week 15 pitchers? How do we do there?
All right. So this is going to be a quicken.
It's a brief.
So Mr. Rich Hill, Dick Mountain, was slated to start, I believe, this weekend, and he got traded. So that's the news of the day. There's a couple. He was actually traded to slotted to start against the Cleveland Guardians. So it would have been all the buzz in one matchup that never happened. So Rich Hill traded to the Mets. Who knows when he'll start again? He did not start. I've heard some chatter about that. Real quick, I think I remember seeing that you didn't understand that trade, right?
No, it was more. I think it was Toby. It was either Toby or David.
Toby.
Yeah.
I was kind of on the train that I did understand that trade.
Yeah,
it was cheap. It
definitely made sense for the Mets, without a doubt.
I think it made sense for the Mets and Rich Hill. I trust the Rays.
Yeah.
To do their trades. I mean, so I saw a tweet that was like Rich Hill hasn't gone over 100 innings pitched in like years, and he's at 95 already. So I think the Rays think that maybe his arm's just spent, and they were going to try to get what they could from him, which makes
They're
sense.
playing chess.
Yeah,
everyone else is playing checkers.
Exactly.
Yep.
And the man's 41. It's not like he's gonna stick around. Maybe he will stick around for another couple years. I don't know,
man. I mean, at age of 35, we all thought he was done. And then he revolutionized his pitch mix and everything like that, and he's been pretty good ever since.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was a deal that made sense for both sides. We'll see. But he didn't pitch. So a net negative. Patrick Sandoval, he pitches today, has not pitched yet. So he'll be pitching later on. We'll see how that turns out later. And Zach Davies pitched against the Diamondbacks last night, and he was about as good as you would like Zach Davies to be. In fact, he was better than you would like Zach Davies to be, I'd say. He went 5 1/3. He did give up 2 runs, but he had 8 strikeouts. So that's not a normal Zach Davies thing.
No.
So I would take 8 Ks in 5 1/3 and the win all day, every day from Mr. Davies. So that is my one pitcher of the week, and it was a pretty solid one.
Yeah, there you go.
we'll take that. We're 1 for 1 so far.
Overall, pretty good. Yeah, and we'll see how Sandoval does later today.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll take a look at my week 15 pitchers, and it was of the 3, 2 of them were brutal, and one of them was great. So here we go. Jayco Dorizzi, Astros. He went against Texas. He's been on a roll lately. The last month, I don't think anyone really truly believes Jake's that good, anymore. He was pretty good in Minnesota and a little bit before that for Tampa. But yeah, against Texas, he went 4.2 innings, 6 Ks, 5.79 ERA with a 1.29 WHIP. He allowed 3 runs on 4 hits, so pretty mediocre. I was expecting against Texas to have him to go at least 6, and maybe only the 3 runs I'm okay with. I think that's pretty much standard for him, but I was hoping to go a little bit deeper. Number 2 was Johnny Cueto against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And it was funny. I talked about it last week, how he's played Pittsburgh so much. And then I saw this stat that he hasn't lost to Pittsburgh since 2012.
No.
So I was like, man, it was even better stat than I even thought of. But unfortunately, that did not matter last night. As I was watching the game, he went 5 innings. He had 7 Ks, so the Ks are still there, but a 5.40 ERA. But he didn't walk anybody, so 0.80 WHIP, no win, no nothing. I expected the win there, man.
Anytime you're up against Pitt, you should. But,
especially with everything that we're seeing from San Francisco.
But, Pittsburgh's been okay. Detroit's been really good. So you can't really stream against the normal teams right now, it feels like.
I know. You got to – and I think a lot of people, the people that are still paying close attention, they know that. But overall, I think there's a lot of people who maybe the first 3 months of the season, they were dialed in, And then now a lot of people have fallen off and everyone just assumes Detroit's not doing well or whatever it is. So if you're paying close attention to your waiver wire and you're paying close attention to the matchups, this is the home stretch where you can make so many leaps over the next 2 months. So make sure you're doing that, guys.
For instance, the Astros were horrible for like a 2-week stretch. You just got to jump on bad teams like that and keep riding when teams are in slumps.
Exactly. And then my third pitcher, Tariq Skubal. So the Detroit Tigers, he was my best pitcher by far. He actually still has a game today. He's at Kansas City. Earlier this week, he was versus Texas. So, I was expecting, Dorizzi, come on, dude. But anyway, Skubal versus Texas. He had 6 innings pitched. He got you the quality start. He got you the win. Only 4 Ks, but only gave up 1 run, and he had no walks. So 1.50 ERA with a 0.67 WHIP. He was absolutely beautiful. So they called him up. He got the start, and hopefully today he can piggyback on that against a lowly Kansas City team, and hopefully boost my numbers up even more. All right, Mac, let's hop into the next week, week 16. That's going to be, again, July 26th through August 1st. We're almost in August. Hit me with your hitters. Who do you got?
All right, so we got 2 double dips this week, but it's been a long time since I've gone back to these specific wells. And one fresh face. So let's start with a fresh face. Dalton Varsho is 11% rostered. Over his last 11 days, he has 3 home runs and 2 stolen bases. He got a lot of chatter at the beginning of the season. If you're in any deep fantasy communities on the Twitter sphere, You heard people talking Barshow could be catcher eligible. He could be getting you 2020 potential, and then he didn't come up from the minors for quite a hot minute there.
Yep.
But since the All-Star break, he's been doing what people thought he could do, which was hit home runs and steal bases. And that's what everyone needs, is a guy who can hit home runs and steal bases. So you should probably pick him up while he's doing that, and while he's available doing that. Plus, I think he's still catcher eligible in some leagues. So,
yeah, in Yahoo. Yep.
Yeah. So if he's an option in Yahoo leagues and you've been rostering Isaiah Kiner-Falefa for
that's the first person I thought
season, and you are just tired of it, just get a breath of fresh air. Get Kiner-Falefa 2.0.
Yep. Christian Vasquez, same guy.
Yeah, same guy. He's got 8 bags and like a 180 average or something.
Yeah.
Something horrible. So yeah, just do something new. Get Varsho if you can.
Yeah, have some fun, man. Yeah, get the new guy.
It's nice to root for the new guy. Speaking of, this is an old guy, and you should be rooting for him, and you should be picking him up. We've talked about him a bunch on the show, and this is how I know that you guys just aren't listening to us. Because Rodney Grossman is still only 43% rostered. And
That's insane.
I get it. His average is 229, sure. But his on-base percentage is like 360. And it's 352 last I checked. He has 5 home runs and 3 stolen bases since the beginning of July. He's one of only, I think it was 6 guys. I saw a tweet from Ray, Prospects 1500. He's one of only 6 guys with 15 home runs, 10 stolen bases, and a 350 on-base percentage. It was Fernando Tatis Jr., like Ronald Acuna Jr., and Shohei Ohtani, Cedric Mullins, and Robbie Grossman. I think it was like 5.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Something crazy like that.
No, I heard it too. It's wild.
Yeah. Robbie Grossman has 15 home runs and 10 stolen bases. He's currently flirting with
actually 12 stolen bases.
Yeah, he's 12 stolen bases now. He keeps jumping. Yeah. He's currently, and he's got a 350 OBP, and he's currently flirting with a 30-20 season, which is crazy value. And you're letting him sit there because he's a Tiger. He's almost scored. He's sitting at the top of the lineup. He could score 100 runs this season. He's on pace for 90.
I did an article at the beginning of the season, like top 5 or 5 players that are being drafted post 300 that could really be contributors. As part of that was Hunter Renfroe, Kiki Hernandez, and Robbie Grossman. And I said Grossman has the off chance of going 2020 with a 350 OBP, and it's not looking that crazy.
Look at that. Listen to my man Marty. He's got the deets, and Robbie Grossman is good, man. Robbie Grossman is good, and I have one team that has Ohtani, Grossman, and Mullins on it, and seeing that stat was really, really opened my eyes as to why that team, because on paper that team looks pretty much like trash, but those 3 guys have really carried it. Robbie Grossman's been carrying my team, and I shouldn't have said him this week.
Let me ask you this: I actually just made a trade. I just traded Robbie Grossman in the league where I was telling you earlier. I have like 6 or 7 outfielders that are like, I have Pham, I have Laureano, I have Stanton, I have Harper. I just have like beasts in the outfield. And I lost Pablo Sandoval. I lost Manoah for the week. I lost Jacob deGrom for a little bit. So I traded Robbie Grossman for Lance McCullers.
Okay.
All
right. I
don't know. We'll see. He's solid, right? Lance is fine.
I like that. And part of the reason why I like that is because Lance is a part of a team. Dusty Baker lets all of his guys go long because the Astros bullpen is trash.
Is it?
So,
I haven't paid attention to the bullpen. It's not bueno.
Great. They don't really have. You got Ryan Presley, and I think. I'm having trouble naming the rest of their bullpen.
It says it all.
The Astros have. I think I saw a stat that they were like one of the top teams to let their pitchers go 7.
Okay.
So
old school mentality of Baker.
I've got McCullers in a couple leagues, and even when he's giving up runs, a lot of times he ends up going like 6 or 7.
Yeah, it levels out the ERA.
Levels out the ERA, and he strikes out more batters, ends up with like 8 or 9 Ks. I think, man, if McCullers could get his slider to work consistently, he's like a top 10 arm. But
and the strikeouts are here this year. 91.2 innings, 107 Ks.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah. So
good. You make me feel better about it. Good, because I don't
know. I like it.
I needed I just needed just a solid pitcher to get me through August, because you lose DeGrom, you lose Lope. I'm seeing all these IL, and Yahoo, you can only have 5 slots for ILs, and that's a whole different. We won't get into that.
If you need pitching and you got outfield, I like McCullers a lot. I'm a McCullers lover. I think next year I feel like
the right guy then.
Yeah. Yeah, man, feel reinforced. I'll reinforce your behaviors.
Okay, good.
And then where we're at, number 3 is Jonathan India. And I had him one time a few weeks ago as a pick. India has 7. I forgot to mention this. I think all these guys, I didn't look at Varsho, so I don't know about the D-backs, but I know Grossman and India have 7 games next week. Grossman's got 4 against Baltimore and 3 against the Twins. So no real pitching threats to speak of. In fact, Baltimore is none of their pitchers are really any good.
Yeah, so, I think Means is back, but I don't think they're going to be pushing him too much.
Yeah, no, he won't be. Yeah. He won't be pushed. Yeah. And a lot of guys coming off the IL has rough starts anyways. So yep. And India's got 7 games next week. I forgot who they were against. I think that they play. I think they play someone from the NL East, but I was doing this late last night. Either way, he's got 7 games next week, and that's what you want. And he's got 2 homers since the All-Star break. He hasn't stolen any bases, but he's got speed. He's got the potential for a couple steals. I like India a lot. I like the way that he plays the game. I like the power speed threat that he presents. And
and his OBP is 405.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Jeez, it's 4th in the majors, only behind Vladimir Guerrero, Juan Soto, and Max Muncy. You may have heard of them.
May have heard of those fellas. So I like India a lot. I think he's flown under the radar. He's only 62% rostered. People dropped him when he slumped a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, 2 homers since the All-Star break. Potential for steals. What's not to love about him? 405 OBP.
Second base, third base eligibility, so you can get your middle and your corner,
which are rough spots in the infield.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, so we got Varsho, Robbie Grossman, and Jonathan India.
I like it. All right, so I'll take a look at my Week 16 hitters, and I went back to the back to the well here with Hunter Renfroe, and I always do with him. Outfielder, Red Sox, 46% rostered. Red Sox have 7 games next week, and the most important thing is they have 5 lefties on the slate. So always really like that for Hunter. He's been overall just a lot better this year, just a more complete hitter. His average is still, it's still pretty garbage, but you're not picking him up for average. You're picking him up for the pop. So over his last 15 games, he's got 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. He's struck out 17 times. So, we could be revisiting this next week, and he might have 9 strikeouts and, no hits. So we'll see. But anytime you have that many lefties on the slate in that powerful offense, which I don't know if we thought the Red Sox offense was going to be this good this year, but, I really liked what I've seen from him. 4 versus Toronto, and then 3 versus Tampa Bay. So we'll see how he does. I'm expecting him to go deep a couple times here. Number 2 is the old veteran, and people are sleeping on Joey Votto. And maybe it's the Reds too, kind of like similar to the Tigers, where if your team sucks the first couple months of the season, then people just think for the rest of the year they're going to be terrible.
Yeah, and the Reds are even in second place. It's not like they're
exactly
the worst.
Right.
They had a really good stretch and then a really rough stretch.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so Votto, since coming back from the All-Star break, he's got a home run. He's got 4 RBIs, and he's been pretty solid. Top 10 first baseman, the whole year. So going against at Chicago, and then 4 games at the Cubs, 3 versus the Mets, so 7 in total. He'll be playing each game. I think he's going to do really well for you, especially in OBP leagues. He's an OG in the OBP leagues. He's going to do well for you there.
That's the guys that India is playing, Cubs and Mets. I knew it was
there we go.
His team in there. Yeah. Thanks for doing that legwork for me.
Yeah. And then number 3, I'll say my boy, because I have Max Kepler everywhere. just literally everywhere. Anywhere you could have Max Kepler, I got him. It's been a roller coaster of a season, more so than I even thought it would have been. But I'm going to roll him out here for the next week because he is hot. So let's see. I had it up here. Here we go. So over the last 7 games, just 2 home runs. Again, only 2 RBIs, so you know what that means. The solo shots are coming, but he also has a steal. So the sock and shoe combo is there, the home run and stolen base potential. The wind has been left out of the sails a little bit with Nelson Cruz moving on to the Tampa Bay Rays. So he's a big bopper in that lineup. So anytime your leadoff hitters don't have that protection behind you, we'll see how it goes. But Kepler has 3 versus Detroit and then 3 at St. Louis. So, I'm expecting big things from him this week and hopefully the rest of the season because it's really going to help me out overall. All right, let's go to our Week 16 pitchers. And this is my favorite. If you had to pick one, what do you have more fun doing? Researching upcoming pitching, or upcoming hitters for the week? Personally, for me, I enjoy looking at pitchers more. I don't know why, but I just do.
Man, that's hard. I think that I enjoy the payoff of hitters more, I think, but I enjoy the research. I do think I enjoy the research of pitchers. Like when you get a guy who bats 450 and has 3 home runs in a week, you're like, oh,
you're feeling good.
But hitters are such a crapshoot. It feels like there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more of a science to the pitching, so you can get a little deeper into some matchups and reasons why. So I think I agree with you. I really enjoy looking at pitchers for the week. That's a good time.
Good.
Speaking of,
who do you got for Week 16?
So number 1, we talked a little bit about the Rich Hill trade, and my man is, I think, one of the guys who I think is going to be a primary beneficiary of the Rich Hill trade is Shane Mcclanahan. He's 48% rostered. I know, just so Irish.
My Irish roots love it.
Yeah. The Irish roots love it. Mine too. I got a little red in my beard.
I so much. It's a little bit of gray too, but that's neither here or there.
I think I got 1 white hair. My wife likes to point it out. I know.
Yeah, of course, naturally.
Yeah, right there. She's like, it's in your mustache. So Mcclanahan has been, if you paid any attention, pretty filthy for a while, but he's not got a ton of run. The Rays are careful with their young arms.
The Rays are gonna Ray.
But last time out, he went 5. He had, I think, 7 or 8 Ks in those 5 innings. Yep. 7 Ks in those 5 innings. And the time before that, he went 4. And I like the idea of them ramping him up slowly and using him for a stretch run, especially with Rich Hill gone, no longer eating innings. Yep. So I think that some of their young guys, who's the rotation spot going to? Michael, what's his last name? Michael Watt. How do you even say that? Wacha? I never said it out loud. Waka.
Exactly.
All right. So Mcclanahan, bad people have talked about Baz coming up. Patino has been decent. But I think Mcclanahan, he's going to get a run. I'm hoping, because I have him in a couple leagues. He gets the Yankees, who are a strikeout happy team. I like the matchup. It always feels like the Rays play the Yankees well. Yep. I don't watch a ton of those games, but it just feels like that. It's just a gut feeling.
Yep.
And then number 2 is Jayco Dorizzi. So I know he didn't do too hot last week, but I'm going to do a little piggybacking because he gets Seattle, and we all know that Seattle's on a great offense.
Yep.
And I know
Seattle too.
We just talked about looking deep into the games and checking who's good and who's not. Well, Seattle's just really not been good for.
Yeah.
Now, they do have a couple guys who have been hitting well, specifically Luis Torrance, who is worth a look if you need a catcher as well. I know we talked about Varsho, but
the deep name drops. Are you hearing that? That is deep.
Good job, man. Torrance has 4 home runs since the beginning of July, and since he got called up, he has more home runs than Vlad Guerrero Jr. Or just as many. I think he has 11 home runs since he got called up, but it was not that long ago. He's kind of been on a tear. So mid-June maybe was when he got called up. Regardless, Torrance is worth a look. So Seattle's got a couple hot bats who are.
And Kelenic is not one of them. I was looking at his
Kelenic
stats. God, he's been brutal, man.
Yeah, I did not pick him up. I did not pick him up, and it's worked out for me. But sorry for everyone who did. I still love him long term. But
I'm gonna say, Dynasty. Obviously, he's a hold. You can't do anything with him. You can't trade him right now because he's pennies. Pennies on the dollar.
No way.
Yeah.
Hold on to him. But I think Odorizzi will get you a good start here. We'll probably quit Odorizzi for a while if he turns up another stinker.
Yeah, that'll be it.
2 in a row against Texas and Seattle. But
he'll be in my Hunter Dozier category. Done.
Hunter Dozier's been one of the best hitters in July so far. I was just looking at this.
Not the week I had him.
I know. This last week or like the last 10 days, he's batting like 500.
All right, I'm bringing this up. Let me see. Because I've sworn him. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, 2 for 4. A 4 for 4 night, 2 for 4. But look at this. Out of all that, he has 2 RBIs now in 1 game. They're empty stats. You suck, Dozier. Not as a person, obviously.
But man, I was looking the other day and I was like, man,
but no,
Marty,
that's true.
Marty would kill me if I was like Dozier, and then the next week he batted like 700 with 4 home runs.
That's what happens. But that honestly, though, that is what happens with play. The second you drop somebody, my buddy dropped Matt Chapman in a 12-team league last night. Chapman finally hit a home run.
Yeah, he did.
That's what happens. You drop somebody, they're going to do good.
They're going to do it. It's just the way it works.
Yeah.
So Odorizzi, I like him against Seattle. I think that he's not the type of guy who turns in multiple really bad blow-up starts. He's generally he's not an ace, but he's a starting pitcher 3 or 4 that will usually get you some good quality innings. And
and the win should come with it too. Hopefully, with the Astros.
I'm expecting Astros to beat Seattle more often than not. So
I
like that for a win. And then speaking of liking things for a win, Tariq Skubal.
Yeah.
So I double
dip.
Backed. I know.
I like it.
I think that's we've done that a couple times. I think it's payback because you did that to me a few weeks ago.
Well, I see if one of the pitchers has a bad game, I'm like, I got him next week.
I got him next week. Exactly. That's what I did with Odorizzi. I'm just trying to ride the Skubal wave because apparently, because he was doing pretty good. But he's slated to pitch against Baltimore. I mean, this is a really good stretch for Skubal owners.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas, KC, Baltimore.
Yeah.
What a run there. So he's slated 45% rostered, slated against Baltimore. I don't think you need to say anything more. Baltimore's one of the worst offenses in the league.
Yeah. And Skubal's had 5 quality starts out of his last 7 appearances.
Yeah. He's been really darn good for a little while now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what more you need. I don't really know why he's only 45% rostered. I feel like in anything beyond a 10-teamer, maybe a 12-teamer, you squeeze him out, but I feel like he should be rostered in 12-teamers at this point too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So go get him.
Cool. All right.
That's it.
And who were your can you round up the 3 again?
Yeah, let's round them up. Shane Mcclanahan, Jayco Dorizzi, and Tariq Skubal. All of them 50% rostered or under.
Awesome. All right, my Week 16 pitchers are. We're going to start with Dallas Kykel, the old veteran. 62% roster at Kansas City and versus the Guardians.
Cleveland Guardians.
Which is, I did a little bit of, background on why they call it that.
Yeah.
The Guardians of Progress and, all this different stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
okay,
hey,
I get it.
I like it.
It's cool. It's going on me.
And if you don't like it, that says more about you than anything we could talk about on this show. So anyway, 62% rostered at Kansas City versus Cleveland. And, he's on the White Sox, obviously, and he's been solid. I don't think he's going to be, he's a 2-start pitcher, which for me is what I want to get a couple more Ks here in the category. And it's going to take 2 games for Kykel to get you some Ks that are actually worth talking about. But last time out versus Minnesota, 5 innings pitched. He had 6 Ks when we gave up 2 runs. He's Kansas City's just a middling offense at best. There's nothing there that stands out for me. I think he's going to get you. I'm going to go on the thing. He's going to get you 2 wins next week. I'm feeling good about it. No, I don't see a world where he doesn't. So we'll start there with Kykel. Number 2 is Chris Paddock at the Disco. I think everyone's pretty much given up on him. Would you? I don't know what you're. We don't really talk about him too much, but I don't know. How do you feel about Paddock this year? What have you been seeing?
He's so up and down. I rostered him for a brief time period, But I watched him pitch against the Braves. That was who I was. That's who I was watching them play that day. I watched him pitch that game. It was Machado who hit that liner into the gap that Garcia by like 3 feet. So I watched him pitch, and he was throwing his curveball for strikes, which I think is important for him. And he looked good. The Braves offense is not anything to speak about right now, but he did look good, and he made most of the Braves hitters look silly. I think he only allowed 1 run from what I saw. I think I watched through the 5th or 6th inning, and it looked like he was locating his curveball well and putting it on the edges, and that's important.
He needs that third pitch, man.
That's important for Paddock. The third pitch is important. So if he is able to continue putting that curveball over for strikes, even just to get me over first strike. That's
he's throwing it 11.8% of the time. So basically 12% of the time he's got the curveball going. So he needs to maybe get that up to 15%.
15, 20% would be nice.
Mm-hmm,
But I like the attempt to get it over for strikes, and I think that he still has that other level that we've talked about that he could unlock.
Thank you. I like that. Yeah. And he's going against Oakland, which isn't the best matchup, but then the second one of the week is versus Colorado. So I'm feeling pretty good about that overall. He's still not walking people. He's in the 92nd percentile of base on ball percentage. So, not walking too many people. His whiffs are down. His fastball velocity is up a little bit more than it's been. So that is encouraging. But man, when people get a hold of the ball, his max exit velocity and hard hit rate is actually pretty high. So it's a little risky, but anytime you have a 2-start week, I like to take that risk, because you never know what could happen. Even if the first outing isn't that great, you might be able to level it off in the second one. He's down to 71% roster, so I went 1% over what we normally do. We like to keep it 70 and under, but I'm feeling the bounce back. I think for this week he's going to be solid. And then number 3, Quang Young Kim.
Yeah.
Silently been a killer. You know what I mean? I think people are definitely sleeping on what he's done. Part of that is, being part of the Cardinals and, just not, unless you're in the Midwest, there's not too much coverage there. But he has 5 straight wins, which is pretty wild. His last game out against the Cubs, 6 innings. He had 7 Ks, and he's going against the Cleveland Guardians, who, beating a dead horse, but they're, it's not a good hitting team. And the Cardinals offense has bounced back from what it was previously earlier. And Kim's been solid all year. He has a 2.88 ERA, 1.17 whip. He's not going to get you the strikeouts. So that's why I like my other 2 picks to get you the Ks there, and they'll be able to tally up over those 2 games. But over 84.1 innings, he only has 67 strikeouts. So we're not going to see something, too crazy, but I don't know if anyone knew this, but Kim had a 24-inning scoreless streak. Yep. Wild.
Crazy. I almost picked him up. I almost picked him for this week, and then I was like, I don't know how long it can last, but it's been lasting. So
gotta ride the wave. I know he had at the beginning of the season it was pretty rough, and he's leveled out. Not even leveled out. I mean, he's skyrocketed.
I picked him once or twice early on.
Yeah.
I got one good start out of him, but yeah.
And anytime he's a wily vet, he's 33 years old, left-hander. So I think he's going to be able to see that the Guardians offense and just be able to mow him down. I see that being a win, honestly. So my 3 are Kykel, Chris Paddock, and Quang Young Kim. And you know what? I actually looked up. It's Quang, right? Isn't it? I Googled it. I listened to some pronounce.com just to make sure. So I'm feeling pretty good about that as well. So, all right, we did it.
All right.
Here we go. Where are we at? 38 minutes. All right, cool. I like it.
We dropped it from last week a little bit.
A little bit. But so we'll get going here. It's Saturday morning, so we have a full slate of games in front of us for not only today but also Sunday. So we'll see how that affects our overall stats for our Week 15 players. Mac, before we go, remind our listeners, where can they find you?
You can find me at jchristianmac on Twitter, talking about the Braves, doing a little editing for Pitcher List, and doing this show right here with Marty Tallman.
I love it. And you can always find me Marty_Tallman, Triple Play Fantasy. Just, you know what, guys? Thanks for sticking with us. This the viewership has fallen off as far as total views, and that's just people like football. and people are preparing for football. And that's absolutely fine with me because I will just study every part of the waiver wire and get ahead of all those people who like that sport.
All those chumps.
All those people. All right, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. As always, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Yes.